This episode is brought to you by the RVA Podcast Network. Find more information at rvapodcast.org.
We do not own the rights to anything or any music that's heard during the duration of this podcast. Also, a lot of these shows will have explicit content. So if you are not a fan of any cursing or profanity, you may want to walk away, but that does not mean that every show will consist of such.
It's a new year, so you know what that means. That means a new season. It's season 4. Intro a little revamped, microphone a little revamped, branding a little revamped. We're now officially the Pass BT pod. So welcome all Spotify,
Buzzsprout,
Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, and all podcast platforms. Here you're going to get a flavor of sports, music, tech, video games. Once in a while, we'll get an Ass of the Week and a new part that's going to be coming in. It's not mentioned on the season 3, but we do what's called Pass the Message. So definitely you want to tune in and get some good content on the Pass with your host BT. What is up? What's going on, y'all? Episode 310 of The Pass is here. I am your host, BT, and I have a newcomer to the show, but an old soul in my routine. You'll see in the title that I have it actually listed featuring the name, but I'm going to let her introduce herself, and we're going to do a teachable moment in a moment, but you can go ahead and introduce yourself when you're ready.
Hi, guys. It's Angela Christina. Just stepping in for a little while.
So that's the modest presentation. And as I always tell people, one, and I'll go ahead and warn y'all now, we are of age, we are drinking, we are doing some relaxing. This is like the mellow out show. As you know, this is the year in review. She's giving you the crisp, crystal clean, I'm just a mom and I take care of family and I take care of home. But she is a creative, she is a blogger, she is a social media influencer. Did I miss anything? Songstress. Oh, now we want to sell. No, had a chance to sell, but don't sell. Now it's
a realtor.
Yeah, upcoming realtor. Yeah, that's the elevator pitch. So, she has her hands in a lot of crafts, and we've had endless amounts of offline conversations. And I was to kind of give a brief timeline, taking Ange out of it for a sec. I was initially supposed to, going back at the beginning of the year, I was supposed to have this show. I had a guy on, DJ 2 Trill, which was a good show, but we never really linked up because he was someone who I had considered to do a year review guest as being on the show. But you talked to me about this, I think, like in October, and I was like, you know what? Fuck it, let's do it. So, and yes, explicit content. If you can't handle fuck shit, bitch, ass, then this might not be the show for you. I will forewarn you, this is going to be a very unpacking podcast. We have our list of topics, and then we have it's going to be a lot of freestyling, but it's going to be a fun, fluid show. Now, as I mentioned, first of all, I guess this is going to be fun for me because this will actually be my first show doing the year in review with someone else. So it'll be a little fun and a little different for me to kind of let off the accelerator and get them to give some input. So it's going to be a lot of participatory efforts on both parties. I don't know how we can start with how we look at 2020, but I know the first thing, and I'm going to look at my list of a few because as soon as I start ruffling pages, because she didn't realize this until I told her, like, this microphone here is everything, even down to my chair squeaking and creaking, but that's neither here nor there. But the first thing that I will bring up, because it was one of the earliest stories of the year, is the untimely passing of Kobe. It was, and I'm not saying this isn't me, Mike, and this is just me open dialoguing. Like, I look at my bullet journal, and it sucks, but it was a key turning point of, him passing, me being at Starbucks, having the news, a friend of mine talking to me about it. I think someone you personally know, it affected them very heavily.
Yes.
I think we even talked about it afterward, like just kind of having like the infamous Kobe discussion of like how good of a player he was, how much he's left off of the radar.
Right.
How did it personally affect you at all, or did you have an impact, or was it just kind of like not a big deal?
I didn't expect it to affect me the way that it did. Because you guys grew up with Kobe. I mean, I love basketball as well too.
Yeah.
He just wasn't my player.
Right.
But once I was seeing like the heartfelt reactions from America, and then as a mom, I kept thinking about baby girl. And I watched the video, and at the end of the video, he said "Mamba out," and the screen went black, and I lost it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it did affect me.
Okay. And it's funny. It's interesting you mention that, because I don't like watching the commercial, but I always go back and watch it every once in a while. It was a commercial that was done when Kobe retired. That was called what was it? I hate loving you. I can't stop hating you, or something like that. And it was basically like all of the fans of other teams and other players that played for other teams against the Lakers. And it was just the hate yet respect for Kobe.
Right.
And it was a tough ending, because you see this ending, you see this video, and then it's like Kobe walks out, and then it's showing like the tribute message of just like Kobe walking away, and it was like we never would have expected this to even occur.
Right.
And I do want to make sure I mentioned it on the previous show at that time, but I do want to take time, and anyone who was lost during that helicopter or that plane crash, condolences, heartfelt sympathies by far to all of those factors. So I want to make sure we at least give that credit. You had some things that you shared that were key to you, so like I said, I'm not gonna make this an A-Mike based show. Oh, you gonna let me? Okay, so I got the fan wave. So in the meantime, in between time, while she's preparing and I'm preparing and we're improvising, I looked at some of what I'm looking at, something that I broke down about what were my 2020 goals, and just looking over what some of the things were that I intended to get done in 2020. The first thing that I looked at, and I slacked on it then, and I still know it's coming with me to 2021, is one of my certifications that I wanted to get for Security Plus. I did not really study for that like I wanted to, and it sucks. It was not something that I was proud of, nor was I a fan of. I studied like I should, but like I'm looking at, because I even brought my dry erase board out. I'm restarting that all over again, and I'm going to actually organize it with a better format, because I would have top 3 day, top 3 week, top 3 month, but they were all over the place. So now I'm going to actually section off each area, like the 2021 goals, everything that I want to do or would like to get done for 2021. What my top 3 goals are for the year, my top 3, and then break it down like as goals get knocked out, whatever my big goals are, put spaces in. One goal that I sucked at this year was reading more. I did not read like I wanted to. If you go back and listen to the show, I did have Ramona on, which oddly enough, Angela invited, it was kind of like putting a message out to the masses of saying, do you know anybody that's a podcast? And she just happened to tag me.
Always.
And we linked up. And it's still the funniest thing, because I even told her after the fact, and I don't think I mentioned it to y'all on show, that both Ramona and I found out we had the same birthday.
Yeah.
Like the same birthday, same day, same year, everything. And so it was just like it was like the uniqueness of a full circle. So I was just like, cool, having her on. And oddly enough, she was talking about her book, Ugly, which I've read the book, but now I'm rereading the book. And I've realized I'm going to make time to read the book. haven't read it. And I'm like, even talking to somebody else a couple of days ago who I have her book. And I was like, yeah, I need to get to yours too. And I'm just learning that I'm wanting to put more effort and time into reading. So that's something that I will definitely not lax on from 2020 and bringing that into 2021.
Well, I definitely can identify with you with the studying for the certification.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely finally got my real estate classes up and running. And
Okay.
I don't know. It was going good for a while, and then it felt like the train of life came at me, and I just I put it on the back burner.
Right.
So it really sucks because I had really planned out how I wanted the rest of the year to go. I planned on having my license by December.
Right.
So now, literally yesterday I ran into someone from Facebook, and she told me how she got her real estate license in 3 months studying. So she was like, if you go hard, it can be done.
Right.
So that restored my faith a little bit. So I'm just hoping I can start fresh.
Okay.
And January, February, March, April-ish.
All right.
That's what we're shooting for.
So first quarter.
Yes.
Got it.
Absolutely.
Fair enough. All right. No, I'm gonna hold you.
I know. Absolutely.
Did we talk about Pomodoro?
No.
No. So you need to use Pomodoro, and I'm telling you to use Pomodoro, and I'm also using it. There are two ways to come into this. There is the program that I use called Be Focus Pro. I talk about this all the time. Anyone that knows me knows, Angie knows this as a fact, I'm a time management addict. I'm all about time, and if you do something, do things a certain way, it helps out. Pomodoro, so there's an app called Be Focus. There's a free version that's solid. It does what you need. They also have websites that I always reference people to. Like, I literally could put it up on this screen, and you would literally realize it's one of the best sites to go to for just managing your time. Because what it does is, when people study, let's say you got a 2-hour block. The typical study process is 2 hours straight study, right? That works. And some people, for some people, that actually works, which I have no knock or no indifference about. But Pomodoro, what it teaches you is referring to the tomato timer. And basically it's, when you take that first 30 minutes, instead of doing a solid 30, do 25 minutes of studying, take a 5-minute break. Then you do another 25 minutes, then you do a 5-minute break. You do your third 25 minutes and a 5-minute break. When you do your last 25, instead of doing a 5-minute break, you do a 15-minute break. So that means during your time of studying, whatever phone, personal, electronic, shut it down.
Right.
Focus on your studying. I've even gone as far, and I would have it out here, but I literally bought a cube. And a lot of people saw it on my page and probably was confused. But it's a cube it has, I think, 5, 10, 20, and 25. It's different times on it. And when you set it on that side, it starts counting. So literally you have that time period. And what I've learned to do is, because it's a large, bright red light, I sit it off in an area so I can't see the light. And I just focus on my study. Throw on the Lofi, like we always talk about. I've converted her to a Lofi fan.
Yes,
low key. Like, it's literally worked for you and the kid.
Well, I'll tell you, I did the study method the very last time I studied. And I did do the 5 minutes increments. And it really works.
Okay.
So I definitely will implement that, once I start. But it really does work.
Okay. All right. So you got it in place. It's just, as we both learned, just doing the executing.
Absolutely.
If you, and I'm gonna take this will be my last A mic, and then I'll let you run the next one. If you were to take an opportunity to assess your planning for 2020 on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being horrible and 10 being I killed it, how did you do this year for planning?
4.
Okay. Why?
Just because it was so many, and this is probably me just being hard on myself, because
there was
so many things that were unplanned that came up that I couldn't control, because I'm a driver. I just felt like, and then when it came for me to actually sit down and do planning, my mind was going in so many different directions. Okay. So I definitely want to get back to planning my weeks, even planning my minutes and my days. Like, if I know what I'm supposed to be doing, it's just like when I go to healthy eating. If I know exactly what I'm going to eat,
right,
I have no issue.
Yeah.
But the issue comes in when I start like getting hungry and I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to eat. End up doing anything, you know?
Right.
So yeah,
I got you.
It was a solid 4.
Okay. I would say this year it was about a 6, maybe a 7. And the only reason I give that number personally is because I planned. Like, I look at my bullet journal and I wrote out some stuff. Like, I was going in. Like, I even got so fancy where I started to actually use some of my colored markers and colored pens to, like, put stuff down. And there was certain weeks, like this week, I'll keep it a buck. I didn't plan this week. I really didn't do as much planning as I normally am accustomed to. And I'm not using any excuses for it, but I know it was an eye opener to say the least. So now me learning that and realizing that, those are tools that I'm carrying to realize, like, I need to actually go through with the plan and actually put things on paper. And again, that's why I say I have the board, which I'll talk about my 2021 goals without putting out my 2021 goals, because I've learned that's something I think we may have talked about, to not put goals out on public and then somebody snipes them. So, so yeah, that's how I look at it with that. Did you get a chance to look at some stuff, or you want me to?
Well, I thought this would be the perfect opportunity to go into the guilt of not achieving your goals in 2020.
Okay.
You know, it's definitely a real thing. Some people, everybody's on social media is on this kick of, you know, we were quarantined, we were shut down. It's impossible for you to not have met your goals, you know, and I'm just like, people's mental health is suffering.
Right.
People's finances are suffering. People had to be at home with their children for the first time in years, you know, managing working from home. Everybody thinks it's so great, but some people actually need the drive, the commute. So, you know,
disconnect.
Yeah. Absolutely. Because I'm one of those people. Yeah. But, hello.
No, hey, call a spade a spade. If you know, you know.
But yeah, I just want to remind everybody not to let social media pressure you and put more guilt on you than you've already put on yourself. And, you know, procrastination is a silent killer. We're all guilty of it.
Right.
But like I said, go into 2021 with, you know, a fresh start, a new mind, and leave all the guilt and all that stuff. Leave it behind and just do what you got to do. Get it done.
You're ahead of my segment called Pass the Message. Save that for later. You're too early.
Sorry.
We're supposed to be talking about that. See, you giving gems. So I'm gonna say this. And I want to make sure this sounds proper, because this is something that I'm even learning to improve upon for 2020. I mean, for leaving 2020 going into 2021. I want to be more vocal in what I say or what I share. I'm not doing it. This is not a passive message. This is a statement to just kind of make it clear. About a week or two ago, I joined Clubhouse. And Clubhouse became this golden opportunity, which a lot of people are joining. A lot of people are becoming members. It is iPhone only, so a lot of people are pouting about that. But if you remember and go back to the times when Instagram was out, the same thing happened. Right. So just pay attention. It'll eventually do the full conversion, but the app has to run its course. They got to let it, and it's still in beta. And I've even said this to people. My analogy and how I explain to people what Clubhouse is it's like you're in high school, but you're an adult. And you walk into the cafeteria and every table that you possibly can think of sitting at is available to sit at.
Right.
And you have to find that place that's like, okay, I belong here, or nah, this table, y'all doing too much. Or it's a little quiet here. I'm going to leave. Or
let me just sit right here for a few moments and get some tea.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to dip out.
and I reference Clubhouse because the key thing, if I've learned nothing else about 2020, and I'm giving special props, I'm giving my roommate props, I'm giving a lot of people, I'm giving you props, I'm giving anybody, my boy Lonnie, because he wants me to shout him out before I forget. A lot of people have been given $1 million of game for free. And we don't know it.
I sat in a room yesterday with Alori Swain.
Yeah.
Like, that was major to me. You would have thought she was in my living room. And she was dropping so many gems.
And when you said that to me, I was like, who?
Crickets.
I was like, hello? knock knock. But also, and we joked about this a couple weeks ago because I was like, she said, yeah, da 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 da, this is so and so, and I was like, so naming people that you know would be like me naming Elon Musk and I don't even say Elon Musk. It would be certain people that are tech based or music based that you'll be like, who in the heck is that? I'm like, oh, so there's a different level of nerdy. My bad. I did not know, but. It's interesting because it is a very key component to utilize platforms. And going back to what you said about social media, I personally have to work harder on time management and digital well-being. I did horrible this year. Like my time averages were over 8 hours a day. It's not good.
See, I'm struggling with that. I'm struggling. Okay. I'm struggling with wanting to be in the know, wanting to know what's going on, and like put the phone down, lady.
So I'm gonna give. I may have a gift. I'm gonna get you. I can't get it. I can't tell you what it is yet, but it's something I'm gonna buy you that will help you break that pattern.
Gotcha.
And
because I don't even look at my the little thing that comes on the iPhone that tells you.
You don't even want to see it. Mm-mm. Why? Because you're afraid.
It's ridiculous.
Are you over 10? Okay, got it. No. Here's why I'm all right. So we're going. This is why I love this. This is why I love Year in Review podcast, because these are things that I've had conversations with other individuals about, and it's something that I had to really get in the habit of, even with joining Clubhouse. Mm-hmm. It is a very challenging task to sit and find ways to manage your time with your device.
See, Clubhouse, you can put on like Lofi and still get stuff done.
This is true. This is very true. But then, as I call it, the dreaded scroll is a real thing.
Oh, gosh.
The social scroll is horrible. And sometimes you can scroll without scrolling. Meaning you get caught up in realizing that 2 hours passed and you just scrolled yourself into the internet. Mm-hmm. And I know that's weird to say because you're like, well, I mean, I'm on the internet when I'm doing everything. But in reality, when you're really just looking and looking and looking and looking, time passes by you. And then it's like, well, I had these top 3 goals that I was supposed to work on and I just ignored them.
Right.
And I will say this. It probably is going to, I'm not going to say what it is, but I will tell you this tool in the midst of me using it has helped me. And I noticed when I stopped using it, it made a big difference on why I did or didn't do a lot of stuff. Wow. There was a reference that I had. I don't want to give the name. I don't want to say too much because if I say it, check out the link in the bio. It's in the show notes. If y'all know, y'all know. And if she sees it, then she knows what time it is. I don't want to get too much because if I tell it, it's going to be, I just got to get what it is and then I'll give it to you. Okay. I'm just going to matter of fact, I'll ask this on air and then we'll go to the next subject. What's your favorite color?
Black.
Perfect. Okay. Matter of fact, boom, I'll give it to you at the end of the show because I got an extra one.
Awesome sauce.
Yeah, it's going to be 2 devices. So it's going to be one device that's going to be weird to look at and the other device is going to help you with getting to another place.
Okay.
And because I need to update my stuff anyway, so it's fine. But yeah, it's literally remind me after the show because it's going to sound or seem weird, but it's going to be a game changer. It was a game changer for my friend special with planning. It's literally a sit off focus. If you don't use it, then it's on you. That's my best way I can tell you. Right. We spent like a good little amount of time on that. Ego moment, but I gotta take this in because it is what it is.
I gotta do it.
You know it. Where the money reside. Oh, I gotta make sure I give him his copyright credit because he did
that.
He did it. Trump. Yeah. But you know what? I guarantee you sell cars like a boss.
Oh yeah, because I know because my big ass not getting in no Trump. First of all, sir, how I know you gonna pop the button on the Trump?
If you know, you know.
I'm nervous.
I will definitely say a lot of people went through 2020 with a fucked up mindset by far. I'm saying that with a transparent attitude. Yeah. But I can definitely say it felt good to virtually walk across stage and get my degree. It was you can clap. You lucky I ain't got the soundboard up. I should. I would. You know what? Do I even have that sound? If I don't have that sound, I'm gonna be mad. I probably don't, because we don't. I don't keep much stuff. But while I'm looking for that, because I'm probably not gonna find it, I will say I did not expect to. I value what I learned from going to ECPI, and I don't have the sound, but oh well. If you know, you know. That's one of my quotes that I'm ODing from 2020. You know. I've shared, and I'm gonna get to some of my quotes later for the year, like leaving 2020 and even carrying them into 2021. But graduating was huge. I can recall last year talking to Angie about going back to school. Yes. I can remember the first term when I'm like walking in the house with my laptop and everything, and I'm just like, look, y'all can do whatever, party, drink, cut up. I gotta finish this assignment. And I got through, I think I might have had like 2 C's for the duration, maybe 3 while I was there. But for the most part, it's done. It was.
Let me say something. You're being modest. Let me tell you
something. You going to unpack?
I'm going to unpack on that ass.
Are you going to empty the clip?
I am.
Okay,
because you were so amazing in that time period. When I tell you, you were there for everything physically, but you had to push us to the side like, look, okay, I need to study. You were going to class, coming to help me out. You did so much.
Yeah, no, I did.
Going to help mom and dad out. You were everywhere, but still in that circle, in that mind space of I'm gonna get it done. And I literally, it flew by so fast when you told me graduation was coming up. I was like, wait, what?
Right.
I was like, who did you pay to get ahead? No, I'm joking.
No.
No, but
I get it.
And I that was a problem. When you sent me that picture, I bust into tears.
And it's crazy because I remember sending it to you. I remember sending it to Chris Rocks. Mm-hmm. And I think it was like I just literally was just like, all right, they sent me a little portable, and I'm gonna send it there. Hey, we done, we out.
Right.
And then when I think it became more surreal because I never put, fun fact, and I feel bad because I didn't do it. The sign, I still got the sign in my room. I never put it out on the front ever, because it was.
We're gonna put it out in the front when I leave.
Okay, bad. It's not gonna be wet. It'll be snowed out.
If you don't put it out in the front, I'm gonna come get it and put it out front of my house.
It'll be snowed out. That's fine. You can
it's
put
gonna
it.
Be snooed out.
Talk about that. That's gonna listen. Okay, you know what? We here. This is the cast that might not be the cast, but it's a guy who I'm not gonna put any names because there's no need. But it's a person who I've met through Clubhouse, and he's been having a fun. No, he's funny. He literally will post these silly posts about, or he'll make a group and he's like, yo, I'm trying to get somebody to flude me out. And he makes it a joke the whole time. And we just sit in the chats like he's very animated, but he has a good personality and it fits. But going back to the degree and getting this cert, working on getting my certs, I do miss school, but I don't miss school. I want to go back unless I go. If I go back, I'm getting a master's. Fuck out of here.
What's stopping you?
I need a job first. That's in IT, which is one of my goals for 2021.
Okay.
I want to get in because I don't want to say this in a tough connotation. Where I'm at currently with what I'm doing work-wise is challenging.
Yes.
And and when I say challenging, it's the exhaust. The check engine light has been burning. The energy of just trying to get through a lot of things has been tough.
Right.
But I've done, you do the best of what you got, right? So I need to focus on getting this path going because dropping degrees ain't gonna make a difference. All right, y'all. We took a little brief intermission, and we were previously talking about me as far as getting degrees, but still having more work to do. So the input that you gave has been helpful, and I will keep that in mind as far as if I look at the master's approach. But I know if nothing else, I do want to focus on hopping into because I miss computers. Period. That's kind of the mod. Yeah, that's the modest version of it. We're gonna go to a bit of a soft spot for both of us, and it's good because I was telling Fred this before she came in. So if y'all do or don't know, if you listen to Twin Talk or Armbands Anonymous or Cruella eating someone else's food, Fred is one of my Fred is my twin, my friend, my accountability fam. There's so many accolades and references I couldn't even begin. But we were talking about just looking at the outline, and I'm just looking at words and thinking of like different things. And I went and looked at the beginning of the year. The beginning of the year for me was hard, but the end of the year for you was hard. And I'll kind of timeline it, but we're gonna unpack it and really talk about how valuable it was to like go through what we went through. So at the beginning of this year, one of my colleagues lost his best friend, and it's tough when you know someone loses someone because you really don't know how to be there for them. And it was a challenging approach of looking at that occurring. Now we're gonna have more. I want to be clear before I go any further. We are gonna talk about some more fun things and some realistic stuff, but I want to at least get this. I won't even say out of the way, but off the table before I forget. There she go. I knew she was gonna do it. And it might have been a week or two later, and you don't like how you learn news, but when you learn news, it's like, okay, the news is here. I gotta hear it. I gotta accept it. And a friend of mine passed away who pretty much was like my partner. Like, we literally had a reference for each other as Marco Polo. I know I talked to you that day and around that time period because I didn't know who to talk to. I didn't know what to do. And when you read stuff and you get information, you don't want to sit there and say, okay, I heard it or I read it and that's it. I need information and I need to know this is actually true. Not, okay, it was posted online and that's it. And so I was literally sitting in this chair when I found out. I went out. I was out and about. Oddly enough, I was at a Starbucks that day too. And
it was you on Starbucks.
Shh! Don't put me out there like that. First of all, don't. What you're not gonna do? I know you family, but don't. No, ma'am.
Don't do that.
No, it's a unique connection because to answer your question, oddly enough, most cases when I'm at Starbucks, I'm at my calmest and my like most serene state.
Gotcha.
So if I'm there, like Charnel will tell you, and most people know, I'll record if I were to record this show, let's say I went to Verona or to one of the local libraries, and I say, "Oh, I'm done with the audio. Let me go edit." I will literally go to the library and edit the show, and I didn't care if I was in there until 8:00 because that was my peaceful time of just get this editing done and I can relax.
Right.
But I was there and I saw someone put up a post and I was like, this ain't real. No, I'm not hearing it. And it was a similar occurrence of what you had stated with me.
Right.
And we're going to get there. I don't want to jump too far because I do want to bring up your experience because we both had heavy experiences this year with losing close friends. So I I'm like, okay, let me pack up, let me go home, let me chill. We get home, talk to my friend's mom. We're trying to get in touch with each other, trying to communicate, because at the time, that was when I had one of my previous pages that I had access to. We'll get into that later. And I was like, okay. Her mom called, and we talked, and she explained everything. The call ended. I think it was kind of evening. I can recall my friend May and Chanel were here, and they're looking at me and knowing that I just couldn't take it. I could not. It was a complete meltdown, breakdown. I couldn't function. Like, it was to the point where even with me playing, because normally in a modest moment, I always go to Gap Band Outstanding. That's always one of my go-to songs. Just like, okay. And the whole time it played, I'm just boo-hooing, losing it. Couldn't keep it together. And I remember you being there for me. And we pushed the timeline ahead to November, thank you.
13th.
November 13th. I do recall if nothing else, and I freestyled the date, because that's not where I'm at.
No, you're good.
We'll talk about the journey too, because we've both been growing with our journeys in our past, and we'll get into that later.
Sure.
From a separate perspective. You were telling me like, hey Brian, come over, we gonna hang out, kick back, chill, relax, and I was like, yeah, sure, that's fine, that's cool, I'm all down for it, game, no problem. You called me back and gave me the news. Ever since you gave me that news, anytime someone tells me someone passes, I get the same response. Because the same thing happened with my cousin with her mom passing. And it's not intentional. It's me trying to really hear and understand what I heard. Right. In the sense of, that's the information. And I'm trying to gather it as I'm still having to function and driving. I know I did make it to your place. You were frantic for understandable reasons. Mm-hmm. You were making your best effort to go by her place to see what was what. And, you were gathering everything. And I think that was the one day, and I ain't being funny because I'm being also real about it. That was the one day your phone stayed charged. Yeah. Everybody that needed to get a hold of you got a hold of you that day. Right. Both of us mutually gathered an understanding of how important it is to be present. In my opinion. I know you have her in your profile pic as a video for fair reason. How, and I'm not even bullshitting how I express this. How have you been able to continue the journey? And when I say continue the journey, just moving forward, even with the thinking of what was and where things are and how much by nature, because just like you look at it with me, you lost someone who was and still is very close to you. Right.
The journey is day by day, man. It's tough. The first week, I literally could not get out of bed. Mm-hmm. My physical suffered because I couldn't eat. Right. And when I ate, I could not keep anything down. Mm-hmm. It was a process. Having someone else there that understands and that you can really talk to, mm-hmm. because literally, it's still to this day, it's the last thing I think of when I lay down and the first thing I think of when I wake up. Right. And now it's gotten a little better, but iPhone has now where you can pin the people you talk to the most. And
your top 9.
I find myself when something happens going to tell her, and I just can't bring myself to unpin that. Right. And for the first week, I still text her every morning. Yeah. And I won't say it gets better. That, for lack of better words, it gets better. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that whole day was a mess, and very very unexpected.
Yeah, because I think that was probably the most distant I was.
Yeah.
But I was distant for valid yet bearable reasons. I won't say unbearable, bearable, because I know for you, and that was when I was beginning to go through my process and my stages of knowing, like, if I come close to you and I hug you, it's not gonna be good for anybody in that house. Right. And so that's why I had to, I won't say disperse, but be as close as I could and let you go through your stages. Because I know for you, you had to be there to, like, be available to talk to everybody and talk about it and bring things to the forefront. Yeah.
I mean, her family and I, I'm so grateful that they allow me to assist. Right. In things as far as getting, her squared away, but even down to makeup and hair, we got her squared away, and it was tough, but it needed to be done.
Right.
But I'm still grieving, and it comes in waves. It'll be a smell, or maybe a joke, or
an
TV
outfit.
show, or an outfit, and it brings it right back fresh. But I'm pushing through because, as cliche as it may sound, that's exactly what she would have wanted me to do.
Yeah. Okay. And that's fair. Like, it takes strength to say I can progress and not feel bad for progressing.
Right.
We know what people want us to do when they're not here, but then we also have to really understand, like, we gotta figure it out on our own, and we gotta let time heal wounds. And I turn it and I look, like I said, I look at it even with Yvonne when she passed. Like, I still was unsure of what I could do. Like, I still have the card that I was supposed to give her mom in my car, and I've just been like, I want to take it over there, but I'm also just like,
you don't know where she is in her grieving process. So
exactly, especially as mom, because she, like, even with me finding out how I did, it almost caused me to rage, and I had to, like, peel back because her mom had to kind of, like, cool me down, because her mom's birthday, oddly enough, is the day before mine. So she knows when it's turn the knob down, relax, don't go off. And I had to, only for the sake of helping her and knowing, like, I'm good. So I did want to, and it's not me dropping this in at the 40-minute mark. It's just me talking about this as just an overall statement.
Right.
Because we do, both you and I are human. And this is probably going to be that random segue that ain't a topic, but it's just us talking because we talk. It's just a mic in front of us. You've been able to help me understand things that I sometimes forget. You've helped me even in manners that my immediate friends have been able to kind of see, but then you come in with this added hammer, like, and yes, y'all can hear that, but I just want y'all to understand, like, it's the process, but then it reciprocates, because I know when I get through, you won't talk the rest of the night or that day. And I'm like,
I'm processing. One thing I will say, I know that, and I'm not even sticking to the 2020 thing, but we
no, you good.
As a whole, the human race, I'll say, we lost so many people.
Yeah.
Even celebrity deaths.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't understand how that affects someone that looked up, or that was their favorite artist. And one thing I can say about me is my dad passed in 2016.
Right.
So Kobe passing this year, it kind of opened those wounds back up and made me realize that I really just stopped thinking about it. I didn't, really grieve. I never really grieved my father.
Right.
So in 2021, I am going to grief counseling.
Okay.
I really, really am, because I definitely need that support and motivation and just the unpacking.
Yeah.
And I need that.
Okay.
Yeah. So that if those avenues are available for you, please, by all means, don't be ashamed of that. Don't let people tell you in time, if you feel like in time is not going to come, please sit down and talk to somebody.
Yeah. Get it off your chest. Like, it's important to get it off your chest now than to never say what you feel. I was almost about to say never get it off, but that wouldn't work. I had to really think about that. I'm ruined. Listen,
I'm done.
If you know, man. I had to ruin the moment, man.
I'm weak.
We gotta
yeah, because it's about to get heavy.
As anyone knows with me, Chanel has learned this, aka Fred. May has learned this. Mark, Dustin, Lonnie, Ron, Cloak, Acrylic. All of them have heard it. They have all caught the moments where I will ruin a serious moment by saying something silly. And you have as well. So it's not anything to be new by.
Oh, well, I'm going to laugh.
And then you can be like, really? You had to say it just like that?
I'm going to laugh. It's going to be a really serious moment. And I'm going to be inappropriate. And I'm going to laugh. You're going to look at me like...
On a sidebar, I still think it was funny when you and your significant came to the bar. And literally all I said was, and my friend was literally just like, you really just said that, but it works, but why now? And I was just like, I'm not even drunk. That's the bad part.
I remember that.
It was such, to a whole nother
hilarious
things I imagine.
Oh.
So yeah, I did put, like I said, I put losing a friend and then helping a friend through grieving. So that tied both of those. Yeah. Brief. This is kind of brief, but kind of simple. And this is kind of like a thing that changed. And I'll kind of double these into two parts. Grieving. Well, not grieving. Podcast moved. So I uprooted my podcast from Spreaker and put it over to Buzzsprout. And if any of you have been listening to any of the intros or outros, you did notice that it was a weird random yell of me saying Buzzsprout at the intro or the outro. I'll say this, and I ended up learning this the hard way, but it's beneficial that it worked. Going to Buzzsprout was helpful because Spreaker was a more live audience based, which I think is great, but I wasn't the live audience because to be a driver, you must know that it is very important to have control of your audio. So if there are certain things that are said, for instance, the cut that we cut that no one will ever hear, you have to control those things during the show because we can't just be live.
So pause. When you said Spreaker, I was like...
You want to be sprinkled?
No. When you said Spreaker, I was like, is he drunk? No, okay. That's the actual website. Mm-hmm. I just wanted to throw that.
No, you good. No. You're totally fine. It is actually called Spreaker.com. It's to implement the option of being a speaker, and I don't know where the R came from, but it's a uniqueness as to why they had that name.
I like it.
Yeah, no, it rock. Like as a newbie potentially looking to do podcasting. I would recommend it as a starting foundation, and I'm not from the UK, so do not come for me. But as a highly recommended source, it is very helpful to use starting off in your new journeys of being a podcaster.
Yes. Let's talk about it.
And let's talk about it. Like let me time out. I'm not taking away from my friend's podcast, my issues. Let's talk about it. But let's discuss this.
Oh, I didn't know that.
No, you're good.
No, you're good.
You're totally fine, darling.
No, I'm gonna tell you something about me.
Oh, we're telling everything now.
I'm telling it like it is. Okay.
Open my umbrella.
Every time I start something, gosh, I'm always like, let's do it. Because I'm in this space where I'm like, I feel like I can never just do it on my own. Unless it's something, that I have to learn from you. I'm like, can you help me? Mm-hmm. But every time I have an idea, I always try to implement somebody else within it. Mm-hmm. And I'm not doing that this year. Okay. Because I spend so much time waiting on somebody. Like, it's been so many spaces for rent, for lounges. It's been so many real estate adventures. And I'm like, well, let me see if such and such wants to. This year, we're going solo dolo.
So execute.
We're going to execute.
Okay. Just so that means, so as we shared off air before we got back on the show, phone in the bag and stay focused.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh. This is wonderful. I really appreciate it.
So I ended up, during our midline breakdown, I did go ahead and give her I guess you could say it's a gift, but it's a memento. I ain't calling it a Christmas gift, but it's a gift. It is a company who I love, Bagby brand, and they are great at what they do. It's literally and to some people it's like, well, I mean, it's just a bag for your phone. I'm like, no, it's a lot deeper. Right. Because a lot of times, I don't think I ever did it around you, but a lot of times I would have my phone and I'd have a bag and I'd just sit it off to the side. And it's like, well, you're not on the phone. I'm like...
But you would also tell me, when I'd be like, hey, what are you doing? You're like, oh, 2 hours later, my phone was
phone in the bag.
Yeah, phone in the bag. And I never realized that you were literally meaning phone in the bag.
Yeah, it's a reference. Awesome. It's a very underrated reference, and it's a very helpful source. When you have time, take the picture of it, post the
I will.
tag the company, because I love what they're doing. I am looking to support them for the new year. They're a big part of why I don't use my phone as an alarm anymore. Because I have the actual alarm. Oh, you tangent? Okay, got it. Yeah, I felt you. And this is why we're not live. Because when we make faces on camera, we just tell everything. No, but I switched away from using, like, I triggered a former coworker by bringing to light how important. That's something I actually did this year, and I noticed that was one of my things too. And this is not even on ego; this is just reality. I did a lot of triggering for the betterment, bringing things to light that a lot of people weren't ready to look for. One example was I brought someone's mind in opening and understanding that there's nothing wrong with, if you want to use your phone as an alarm. Some people do, which is fine. Mm-hmm. But on the flip side, it's very beneficial that you have an option that's available, because the challenge is most people, and I'm not here to be a statistical guru, but I'm here to just point out facts or observations, or as I'm always called to do, read the room. So most people who have their phone, it's bedside. So if your alarm goes off, aka your phone,
snooze,
not even snooze, go off, and I got the next alarm set a couple minutes later.
Mm-hmm. That's me.
So what makes us uncomfortable? Putting an alarm on the other side of the room. That was the reason why the gift that was ordained at that time was for its purpose. Neither here nor there, because we moved. Preacher. I mean, I'm just giving, because I think that's something that's ignored very, very heavily, and I appreciate that compliment. I have one alarm, like now that I'm on second shift, for me it's usually I get about 8 or 9 anyway, and it's okay, let's knock this day out. And also, and this is a tip that Special gave me that I'm giving to everyone else. This is not a passive message, but this is something relevant to remember. You cannot plan for the next day without reflecting the previous day. Number one. Number two, when that day is in its midst of ending, you should be working on planning those things for what you're working on for your upcoming day. You should not be waking up and saying, what am I going to do today? Right. Some people do, and it works. But in some instances, it's beneficial to go ahead and, tomorrow's, as far as you are aware of, is arriving.
Right.
So you get your idea of what those 3 things are that you need to work on that next day. Try to. And that's something that I'm saying, and to be clear, a lot of this that I'm sharing with you all in openness, but I'm also sharing it for Brian as, bro, you need to do it too.
Right.
Let's see. I did talk about Buzzsprout. It was a blessing and thankful. Back in July, I think that was another image that I shared with y'all that everybody was blindsided about getting the LLC. That was a big deal.
Yeah.
I think I became the LLC guru all of a sudden.
Because
everybody was like, oh, I need to do an LLC. What do I need to do? And I'm just like, I don't know. Mm-hmm. Just go online. Because I helped one of your family members get set up. And he's been going, getting it set up. Okay. You having it? Because I'm not A-Mike in this show. Help me. Because if I start talking about stuff,
no, go ahead. I'm jumping in.
All right, I got you. Spotify library changes. Not really much to say about that. I've just been listening to music a little differently. A lot of people have a love-hate relationship about Spotify, which I understand, because of their algorithms and because of them being a business that is very dominant, but not caring about the creatives. So there's a challenge that goes on with that.
I've divorced Spotify.
Talk about it. Because you were Amazon now, right?
Amazon Music.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. It has incorporated Alexa into it. So
I'm glad mine is unplugged. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, it's incorporated Alexa, so I can do it hands-free. My playlists don't disappear because for some reason on Spotify it's like, boom, where's my playlist? I don't know. But,
yeah, but a lot of people have had battles with Spotify for different things. So I get it. Because I know a lot of folks would be like, yeah, I lost my playlist. I'm like, Man, I can go back and find a playlist from when I first made my account.
And for some reason, they love you. Probably because you're a podcaster. Who knows?
That ain't got another part of it. Yeah. Maybe.
Tomato.
Right. But I am listening to... I do want to listen to more music in 2021.
Okay, so give me your go-to song of this year right now.
It's Not the Baby. I mean, I'm not going to do Her Damage. We OD'd that one. I would say personally the song that I OD'd was, God, I got to find it. Because when this song, I think every time I listened to it, people got so like blindsided by how much I was playing it. But I'm going to find it because literally it was like the first, it was in like my top, like the box was OD, Hair Down, of course. Is a song by Charlotte Dos Santos called Watching You.
Okay. Well, I'm going to OD, jump off the bridge. Damage. I cannot ever play that song once.
Right.
It has to be like 8 times.
Yeah.
It's a classic.
And no, it's a classic. I love the song. And
the sample is amazing.
Yeah, the sample. So let's give her credit because she needs to say it. Angie has finally accepted that she's a music snob.
Here I am. I'm just kidding.
It took us only 30 plus years.
Yeah, I mean,
you was fighting that for a while. I'm not a music snob. I was like,
that's going to be another topic for another
No, it's not. This is the topic for now. This happened in 2020, so we'll talk about it now. I told you the show will go past an hour, FYI.
Let me just break it down, okay? Mm-hmm. Because she has evolved so much as an artist, right? Mm-hmm. I saw the video. I love it because she's so... You can see that she's in tune with her womanhood, but she's not overly sexy. She still gives the 90s vibe. Like she has the see-through blouse and then still the big pants.
If I had a chance, I'd shoot my shot. Go ahead.
Me too. No, I'm just kidding. I'm joking. But yeah,
we do not harm or cause any conflict to any of those who are involved with this. Get all of that off the table.
She is amazing. Like vocally, she doesn't need to evolve ever.
Right.
She just has it. Mm-hmm. As an artist, going from we don't even know what you look like to now.
Yeah, because you did kind of give off like the I don't want anybody to know me.
Whoever gave her that
presentation,
yeah, or maybe she did it herself because she was shy. Mm-hmm. I don't know, but whoever did that was amazing. Right. I'm gonna come out too and just be like a blank page, and nobody will know who I am until I start talking.
You'll do that on the blog when it come back.
Yeah, it's just gonna be.
I'm back.
Got
it.
Like cook crack.
Are you doing the blog next year?
Whew. So.
I'm triggered.
I know you are.
I'm triggering.
I am resurrecting the blog. I want to bring it back because when I had it the first time, it was just a little thing that I did when I needed to write, and it was on Tumblr. Mm-hmm. And Tumblr, I had to go on Tumblr and like screenshot all of my poetry. Mm-hmm. Because they wouldn't let me into my account. So then I had to send them an ID and all this stuff. They let me in, and then they sent me a message and said fraudulent activity, and they kicked me back out.
Oh, so you need to go to WordPress.
A WordPress? Press Word?
WordPress is where my blog is now. Brightay1982.wordpress.com. Link in the bio.
And I want to change my name, but that's another conversation.
No, it's not. You can do that in WordPress. Okay, let's start over. Teachable moments. Do you have a WordPress account?
I believe I do. I believe I could. When you first gave me WordPress, I believe I started an account. Mm-hmm. And, you can change your username on WordPress. Okay. You do know that?
No. I know. That's why I'm teaching.
Yeah.
This is what this podcast is for. Because I told you, we're going to do these. We got these topics. We're going to talk about so much about 2020, but we're going to talk. Because this is online and it's on wax. And it needs to be presented because we need to, just like you've been telling me about, I need to work on cooking, which I'm open to doing. And I need to work on getting out there and getting in the gym. And I need to work on getting my fat ass and go walking. I got no problem with any of those things.
But you have a fat ass friend that will help you too.
That's fair.
So let's get it.
Game time. If I had the soundboard, ding, 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 ding.
Fact.
That's fine.
Let's get it.
Yeah, I'm not saying like we're saying, let me be clear. I'm saying this being silly, but I'm also being serious. Like, it is definitely a year that I'm looking to turn the corner. I'm not sitting here looking at, oh, 2021's gonna be my year.
No.
And I'm not looking at old girl walking up them steps, because Chanel, if she ever was to see it and tell me that chick with the little bag on her back and walking up them daggone steps, she needs to go back to whenever she started and recollect her thoughts.
So first of all, 2021, I'm not sending any Happy New Year text. I'm not telling anybody Happy New Year.
So you're not gonna send me?
I'm neglected. I have to step into 2021 and sit down and feel her out to see how she feels.
At least say welcome.
I'm gonna say hi to her.
All right, no, I say welcome to me.
But you have to. With 2021, we're gonna enter this thing quietly. We're just gonna tiptoe in and sit down and see how the atmosphere feels.
Okay. All right, I'm with it. Did you have anything?
Mental health.
Mental health, mental space. So,
mental health. Oh my goodness.
That's your go-to. Not in a bad way.
No, not in a bad way at all. I definitely have been pursuing a psychology degree since 1968. But anyway,
back in 1902.
Anyways, yeah.
Bitch, caught up about a week ago. This podcast is about to go so left, but no, it's in control. I promise.
Mental health. I am a mental health advocate.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely encourage everyone to protect their mental health. People don't understand, how drastic and tragic it is. Did you hear about the guy that blew up the was it in Nashville or somewhere?
Yeah, the bomb.
Yeah.
Yeah, I shared, Fred and I talked about that a couple days ago. How crazy! That's a crazy story. Still crazy.
And that's mental health left untreated. You know what I mean? He was probably I can just say my diagnosis, probably schizophrenic with a little bit of bipolar, but when you leave those things untreated, they go
sicko mode.
They go, really.
Right.
And I'll even talk about COVID depression. We'll throw that in there.
No, we're not doing that.
Not yet? Okay.
You know that was the last podcast I did, right?
Yeah. No, well, I'm just tying it in.
No, you good. But that was the last podcast. It was called COVID fatigue.
Wow. Depression is a real thing.
COVID fatigue. I'm not gonna go back down that road again, but I will say, even in fuck it, we here. Even with me finding out what I found out and knowing that I had it and how much it affected others,
right?
Along with how selfish I felt that others were affected because of it. Not just in doing things, because our show got pushed back a little bit,
right? But
also, my living situation changed in the sense of we were both, having to do quarantine, even though she didn't, they didn't have it, but no one else around me did either. But it was still just, people got put on the slow down stage, and I was just like, oh, can't be that selfish no more. Lesson learned.
Right.
And and that was something that I even had a conversation with Fred about yesterday, and just learning, like, when something happens to me and it was a big thing that happened. Oh, learning is implemented, and it's not coming back.
Right.
So that's why even on Clubhouse, I even put that, and I didn't want to, but I was like, you know what, whatever. I put that I was I had it, and I was a survivor of it.
You're a COVID survivor,
yeah.
Absolutely.
Like, it's one of the weirdest stats to be, because I don't even, personally, to be 100% honest, I have not looked at CNN a single day to even see what the numbers are. Because then if you look at it, you're like, out of all of those numbers, I'm one of those. And you're like, not something to be overjoyed about. And I'll share this story. I'm not going to share where I'm at with work-wise, but just, it's an interesting scenario. Mm-hmm. The process is a little different as to how it's handled with coming back. Mm-hmm. So it's like, all right, I was back, but I still went through the process of getting a test done again for my own safety or my own sanity. Because a lot of people did ask me, and I'm going to talk about this on the show because I can, and it's just where I'm at. And I guess it's kind of almost dive right into the pandemic COVID topic. A lot of people did ask what made me go get tested, and there were a mix of answers. One answer was because you recommended me to do it. Another answer, which was the obvious answer, which a lot of people don't really consider, is where I'm at. I'm not saying where. I'm not giving information because it's not necessary. I'm in ground zero.
Mm-hmm. Bottom line. And I'm not joking in the whole if you know you know bit, but if you are in my routine and aware of what I do, you don't even need to hear or understand this conversation. Like, I put up a post on Instagram that got almost like 50 or 60 likes because of how real it was.
Right.
Of the term of COVID fatigue. And I was one of those people who was getting close to it before finding this out. And that added to it. And I really personally can say, with that occurring, it pushed my brain to really realize, bro, you need to really give your best foot to yourself. Giving your best foot to everybody else is great, but giving you your best foot is what's important. Mm-hmm. And that's what I was forced to do, along with the fact that I wanted to make it my goal. Even with coming back, I found out, like, okay, I'm doing another test, and I did find out the results. But when I first was sharing with someone individually, another person happened to hear, and the other person who heard doesn't have an inside voice. So they're like, oh, yay, we're so-and-so. And I'm like, no, this is not a celebratory moment. Like, I don't know if you understand that. So it was like having to handle that conversation like that without the person who was celebratory. Like, I talked to the other person who I shared it with, and I gave them the update of, I did another test. It was negative. We're good. Yeah, get your earring straight. Because I know do you take your earring out? Mm-hmm. Okay. Try and get your hair right. Mm-hmm. Hair right, mind right, money for war. Oh, my bad. You remember that song? That's the bad part. Mm-hmm. But it was funny because I shared the information with her, and I even told her after the fact. I was like, the other person that was there really didn't need to know what I shared. And it wasn't like I was mad at her for it being shared. It was just I was mad because I would have thought it would have been just an indirect, simple, we're sharing this and it's not going to turn into, hey, let's share this like we're in the club and it's a public service announcement. But I say I'm all over the place with what I'm saying with that, but I will say this. I realigned what I had put on my wall a couple of weeks before finding that out. Mm-hmm. And it made me understand a lot better when I would roll over and look on the wall and say, Mamba mentality. A constant quest to be the best version of oneself. And that was my goal from that point after. Is to really wake up every day and be the best version of myself.
Yeah.
Even if I did or didn't, like I said at the beginning of the show, even if I did or didn't drink, like I was going to come into this show and like get my shit off.
Right.
Because it was just, this is that podcast that's worth having and talking about and bringing things to light. So yeah, mental health, mental space, it's sanity, been peace. What is your go-to for sanity? You know what? I haven't asked you much of anything. Go on.
My go-to for sanity is me time. If I have to leave my home. Because, of course, I have a husband and a 3-year-old, excuse me.
Yeah.
And a 12-year-old.
Bummer Clyde.
Yeah, and sometimes I need to go on the front porch if I'm not leaving. Mm-hmm. Or if they're asleep, I may go to the store. But sitting in that car, I don't care what anybody says. When you pull up to your house and you know what's behind those doors.
What does me time look like?
Shucks, riding in the car, blasting my music. Me time is with my headphones in, listening to my music, of course. And also, I'm going to tell you something else. Me time is a glass of wine and me cooking with the music blasting. I love it.
Got it.
That's me time.
Okay.
And you have to take those moments for yourself because it's essential. It really is.
Yeah, it really is. You're right. I won't. No pushback from me. I'm asking that because I'm giving you the floor because I don't want to take over the entire microphone of the conversation. What do you have any quotes going into 2021?
Let's get it.
Let's get it. Okay.
That's my only thing. Let's get it. Like you said, what did you say yours was?
I got a lot of them.
No, but the one you said you were taking into 2021.
Give yourself grace.
No,
read the room.
No. You just said it a few minutes
Know your worth?
No.
You are enough?
No.
Those are all of them that I have. I read all of them.
Something that you said a few minutes ago and I can't remember what it was.
About
if you know, you know.
If you know, you know.
Yes.
Okay.
That's what it was.
Okay. If you know, you know. Might you know what? That might be number. I think I might say that on January 1st.
If you know, you know.
If you don't know, now you know.
Baby.
Baby.
Oh.
I'm not doing this today.
Sorry.
I did put accepting my gifts as a personal jab in the throat and the neck.
Okay.
As really learning how to be valuable in knowing what I'm capable of and not selling those skills or talents short. I'm around some dope ass people. Clink. Is that the clink? Clink. You heard that?
Ting, 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 ting. I'm sorry.
No, you're not. Lies. Such a lie. But it's about accepting my gifts. And this is going to be that conversation that I've kind of started on a little bit with the podcast, but I'm going to share it more forward because I've talked to you about it and I've shared it with other people. Gifts are more than just that I'm a blogger, that I'm a podcaster, that I'm a designer, that I'm a creative. I'm a tech creative, but it's also not even just on the empath path. It's more so that I'm open to understanding when people need their moments. I'm beginning to understand people's mindsets before their mindsets approach me. And when I say that, I mean it as a lot of calls can come in and it's not even like they're being screened, but I'm like, I already know where this call is going to go without even having this to hit the green button. But it also helps when I do still accept the call and I'm still as available as I can be because I had a transparent conversation. I've already put them on blast inadvertently, but we're not going to say it any further. But I will reference it was very interesting of having a discussion which went into you really are a whiner. And they agreed, but it was like you should be trying to work on that.
Should get it together, honey.
Allegedly. In my mind.
And one thing I'll say on that, I have learned, I have the thing about wanting to help others and bless people and be that person. This year, next year, starting now, I've already started. I am not going to be available to people as available as I was.
Okay.
Honestly, I'll talk about it. You have situations, and I'm not even going to say this is my situation. You have situations where you really realize that when you're unavailable to people to help or to, be what they need, you don't hear from them. Have you experienced
Break that down. No, because I need you to like you kind of walked up to the iceberg, but you didn't start breaking it. So chip at it. Like explain that to people who really are listening, because that's actually a good gem. That's why.
In life you have friends for everything. That's just inevitable. You have the friend you're gonna call to tell them about this certain topic, and the friend you're gonna call to go to lunch with you.
Right.
You have that one. Look at my quote, air quotes. Friend.
I'm sorry. Let me add the aggressive brand air quotes.
Or we'll call them, for lack of better words, the poser, right? And they'll be all up under you. Wow, can you do this? Can you help me do it? And then when you give that one no, or you're not available because you have something going on, you see them teeter-totter back to their little corner until they need you. And you really have to recognize that in people. Because I got my feelings hurt like that this year. Okay. I'm going to talk about it.
Okay.
And, it's just, it's a learning experience.
So you're learning unlearned habits.
Right.
Got it.
Right.
You may want to talk with Fred and I soon because we're doing that as a twin talk conversation in 2021 about, and I can't sit down there and make it like I'm making the last call. I wanted to be like, I'll talk with her and confirm, but I think that's that's a very egregious but valid conversation that people need to have and need to face, and understanding like you can't half-ass that part of the process if you try to, because if you do, you'll fail.
Right.
People are now being put in positions this year to be the best version of themselves. And I am doing strong, ugly, angry face air quotes because some people don't know who they are.
Are you really doing that, or are you a Facebook quote?
Brian is doing it.
No, that's just what
that's
I'm
the rhetorical.
Are
Okay.
you really doing it, or are you just a good Facebook quote?
That's another one of her past the messages. We're going to save those for the end of the show. But if you want to just hang on, we'll probably have another one waiting at the end. Just wait. I promise. There's more coming.
Sorry.
No, you're not sorry.
And I haven't even seen the past messages, so this is your confirmation.
No, you good. You know what's interesting? And I'm going to tell you a funny story or a funny truth. Anytime I do my podcast and I do the pass the message, I never publicly share what my pass the message is outside of the audio. So you have to literally listen to the whole show to know what the message is I'm passing. Like the last show was about COVID fatigue. So the COVID fatigue conversation, like I have to, like when you brought that up, I was just like, I can't say anything because it just took me down that road. But I also know like I went through what I went through and I still go through it. But now I think it's becoming a lot better, even with me experiencing what I experienced, which I shared earlier. Go ahead.
With what we just talked about, boundaries.
Oh yeah, we gotta go to that list, don't we? Let me go to the list. Sorry, because we were supposed to start with that and we didn't, and I did like this whole PR promo, which was trash.
It's okay,
but it's cool. That's why I have you as a guest / co-host. So a friend of mine who is my business accountability / best friend / odd, unique way of how I met you indirectly without knowing it, along with just a solid person who has been there through it all. She put up a post, which I shared the post, but then I also made it a post on all of my platforms, which said self-sabotage. And this is, before I continue, this is not my passing message. I feel like I've said it like 10 times. You'll know when that's
22.
coming.
It's okay.
Don't keep count. Self-sabotage can also look like overworking, procrastination, people-pleasing, overcommitting, isolating yourself, not asking for help, comparing yourself, pushing people away, aiming to be perfect, having no boundaries, rejecting compliments, observing too much news, suppressing your emotions, holding on to past mistakes, enabling harmful behaviors, seeking control of everything, avoiding the present moment. And you all weren't here for it, but we did do a little bit of a I did it or I raised my hand and I was guilty. And I think we both are equivalent to experiencing a good amount of those. So that's the light version of that. Do you want to expound not on those that I shared, but just like how relevant it is to really like to say what I was saying, know your worth? Yeah.
Geesh.
On the spot.
No, I'm just thinking because I've learned so much this year and the year before. The year before that. No, I'm joking.
No, you're good.
Just about, number one, knowing your self-worth. I can only speak about me. I've been stagnant in the things that I want to do for a long time. Number one, because I've always fallen in relationships where that person is out front and I'm out back, or I've fallen into spaces where I take care of everybody else and I don't take care of Angela. So I never get to do what I want to do. I never get to start the blog again. I never, and I'm sick of it.
You tired?
I'm tired.
Check engine light burning.
Facts. So for me, you really have to know your self-worth. Like, I can do this. You get tired of scrolling on Facebook and seeing.
It's a new app coming soon.
And seeing, I get on my nerves, I'm so goofy. And seeing that, they started a business, and that comes with comparing yourself. Like, dang, I could have did that, or dang, I didn't do it.
Yeah, you was down my throat about trying to get that LLC popping.
And
Brian, come over here. I need you to look at this now.
And I'm gonna tell you, just for my my cousin, shout out to Goldheart Homes. Okay. Just for him to come to me with the business idea and incorporate me in it was amazing. I mean,
did he get his own domain?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Because I was wondering if he did the Google domain option, but that's good. If he got it that way, then that's perfect.
Yeah, and like I said, he's in his learning stage right now.
Right.
But like I have given him some of the resources that I have. Mm-hmm. I want to say Northington Capital. I want to say that's the name, but Marcus Northington. I will drop his name. Mm-hmm. An excellent resource for wholesaling and real estate. He has been like a gem. But yeah, back to the knowing your self-worth. You just have to know. You have to find yourself, get in love with yourself, get into it. And boundaries. For me, I had to learn what my love language was.
What was your love language? Did we ever talk about that?
My love language is consistency.
Okay.
My love.
You still got to read the book, but we ain't gonna talk about that.
Yeah, that's a whole.
You don't have to read the book. I can just send you the quiz, and you can do the quiz, and you can find out what your actual love language is. Because I told you what mine was.
And I don't remember.
Quality time and music, which ain't listed, but music is a given.
A big one, yeah.
If you can't listen to good music, excuse my French, fuck out of here.
Oh, and except that I'm gonna be your best friend. Oh my God! Forever.
No, it's a whole line. It's a whole line of y'all.
We're not going.
Fred, Gladys, love you, mom. You gotta get by that gauntlet first.
Yeah, and boundaries. You just have to. You can't feel guilty for your boundaries. You have to put them out. How you want to be talked to, how you want to be treated. Demand your respect, because it's something about women. I'll talk about us for
talk about y'all, because I'm not a woman.
When we demand things from people, I won't even say men. We're looked at as aggressive, overly angry.
Black women.
Yeah, okay, absolutely.
Thank you. I just wanted
waking up black on black. That's how it is.
Code switch.
And even men, they give us that angry black woman. Mm-hmm. But we're the ones that we've had to be the protector, the provider, the one who bore the children,
the alpha and omega.
Hello.
Yeah.
And I thank you for even stepping back and just acknowledging that, because most guys would be like, oh Lord, here we go.
I'm gonna tell you what's funny about that. And it's very interesting because when you meet people, you never know where you meet people, mm-hmm. but you value their meeting or their occurrence.
Right.
I've been following someone on Twitter for a couple of years. And we really didn't pay any attention to how well connected we were until we had a conversation.
Right.
And just talked about life. Mm-hmm. And it was a lot of things that she brought to light, and it was a lot of things that I brought to light. And the more we kept talking, I was just like she did the unpack about health, as far as a lot of men really don't understand the amount of health issues involving black women. Mm. And I was like, I must be weird, because I do, so I get it. So I have more patience and understanding towards it, because I know people who have different health things that are going on. Like even someone that we mutually know, and them addressing their health concerns, they weren't sure how it would be received. But then I still got to fight through the brick wall, which is another story which we're not getting into on this podcast. And I hope I live to tell, to give episode 311. But all of that being said, it's a tough wall or a tough road to go down when you really can sit back and say, you know what? I'm going to listen. And not all men are open to that listening state of really taking time to get it, because they're so busy trying to be a better. They want to be the loudest in the room, and mm-hmm. it's not necessary.
Yeah,
like a lot of times, and I know I constantly go back to saying to referencing Fred, but it's been that journey of where I really realized it. Not the beginning of this year, but the beginning of last year. It took me being a B Mike on my own podcast for me to understand, which you may not have realized. After that point, I was much better with being somewhere and not having to say anything. And you'll be like, well, why are you not talking? No reason. I'm just reading the room. I'm just sitting back. I know everything. I can tell you everything that's going on, but this is not that we need to talk about things. This is I'm here to listen. I'm here to listen to understand.
To respond.
Yeah, I think I threw that down your throat a couple times unintentionally.
No, before we actually experienced it in conversation, you actually told me about it. We sat down and talked about it. Right. And so when you threw it at me,
you was like, oh.
It made me self-aware.
Right. And
I was like, okay.
We're almost at an hour and a half. So we may hit 2 hours, but I'm gonna do a couple things, and then I'm gonna let you get some shots off. For 2020, how did you do with self-assessing?
Self-assessing, I'll give it a solid 8.
Oh, okay.
I tried to be very self-aware of my mistakes, of my shortcomings. I tried to see how I could be a better friend, a better wife, a better mother. Because sometimes, and I'll just say this, sometimes everybody ain't lying. Sometimes it's you. And I had to think about, like, people say, you're this and you're that. And I'm like, they just coming at me. But I really had to think about, like, how I talk to people, how I treat people. Because I'm always an advocate for boundaries and self-respect. So how can I do that and not be the person to respect others' boundaries? And so that's what I'm learning.
Okay. So I guess I gotta answer my own question. I don't want to answer.
Too late.
Fuck the answer. Self-assessing this year, I will definitely say it's been like about an 8.5, almost a 9. And the only reason why is because I have become the advocate for self-assessments. And the only reason I present it with that statement or present it with that thought because I bring assessments to people's minds that aren't the typical, here's an assessment, answer these questions. Here's some things you need to think about yourself. Answer these and think about it. And then it's like, oh, I got to actually get into my brain and really like pull apart from my true me.
Oh, yeah, you'll throw that in a message in a minute and send it to me.
But I think that's what helps people grow.
It is. Absolutely. Growth is essential.
Growth is scary also.
Absolutely. Let me ask you this.
I'm
on a scale of 1 to 5, what's your growth measure this year?
1 being horrible, 5 being I grew.
5 being I'm growing.
5. I grew. I definitely got forced to grow this year. And it wasn't because of COVID. It wasn't just because of the pandemic. It was because I had to align my thoughts differently from my norm. I've known what I've known. It worked. It ain't broke. Don't fix it. No, it's broken. Fix it.
Fix it. It's leaking.
Yeah, it broke.
There's a leak in the soul.
It broke. It ain't fixed. Get new pipes.
Like I will tell you this. I'll tell you a personal story.
Ooh, you sharing this with the pod? Oh,
yeah. I won't go too
premium
far.
Content.
But Angela, I'm 4'11", so my anger doesn't have really too far to go. It's just in there, just boom.
What?
0 to 100 real quick.
Your anger goes past your height.
It does.
Your anger reaches 6 feet. So go ahead.
We'll go ahead. It's 8 to me.
What they say at McDonald's? Go ahead. Ice cream machine broke.
I hate you so much. But you can make a McFlurry. Okay, all right. Anyway, so I have learned it's not what people say to me, it's how I react. And I don't have to react.
All right, that's it for this podcast. All right. Looks like her show is ready. I'm no longer.
I definitely do not have to react, even within my own relationship. And that's been a big factor to me. Like, I'm the type, when you're irritating me or you're coming at me, I go silent because I internalize it, and then boom. It's
sicko mode.
Boom.
You nut up.
Boom. It's gone. It's like the gloves are on. But while I'm silent, I'm putting them gloves on. But now I let it roll off my back. Not everything.
I'm about to go off in your face,
Facts.
girl. You better chill. She's fine.
Facts.
I'm in the corner. Look, special appearance, quiet appearance.
Come out here.
Yeah.
All full.
So yeah.
She can't even walk.
She ain't even know.
She rolled around the corner.
So by the way, as y'all, I edited out the last part, but since she walked through.
No, she rolled through.
Oh, rolled?
Yeah.
Oh shit, broken finger.
She rolled.
Yeah.
I'm sitting over here trying to be nice and quiet so y'all can have a decent podcast.
Now she came back with a vengeance.
By the way.
You raggedy bitches.
By the way, new episode coming soon featuring Twin, aka Fred. Twin Talk 2021. All hands on deck. We do not own the rights.
I'm weak. I am weak.
And that's fine. She came out to make an appearance, but this is one I can handle because that's audio that I can cover and uncover. I have 3 more topics, and I'm gonna let you rock off and then pause, and then we'll finish up. That shit sounded horrible when I said. I was like, wait, what?
I'm dead.
So I have the election, I have George Floyd, and I have embracing breaks when they occur. Which would you like to start with?
Embracing breaks when they occur.
Okay. Do you know how to handle your breaks? Are you laughing at the ruffling?
Because you can't see her. She's like, and I'm like, just get it over with. That's me in the middle of the night. But anyway.
It's going to be even better when she start hitting the microwave. Beep, 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 beep.
I don't even need to use the microwave. Thank you
Oh,
very much.
alleged.
She's like, you don't even go
in
here.
my mind. Ooh.
I'm weak.
Today is the best day ever. Okay.
I'm weak.
Love you.
Now do the walk away you did last time.
Oh, sachet? Okay, RuPaul. Okay, thanks, bye.
My breaks. Give me more in depth.
You need more in depth about your breaks?
Yeah, like what are we talking about?
So breaks, all right, so breaks are interesting because you did, I'm not going to assume, but I have a good feeling you did not read the podcast. I mean, read the blog about Happy Pockets.
No.
So, Happy Pockets is an example of break. Breaks are any moments that you get to disconnect, to disengage, to have like that silly moment of just let me be me. Like being the best version of yourself primarily can consist of, to say without saying it, letting your hair down.
Shucks. I say in the kitchen with my son dancing.
Okay.
I'll say when I'm just let loose and just be goofy. I'll take a break in a minute. I have to laugh.
So you embrace them?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Like me and my daughter, we used to do 5-second dance parties.
Okay.
I got that from what is the show? Is it Victorious? I want to say.
You got me.
One of those shows. But anyway.
Okay.
Yeah, so I try to incorporate that with Bryant when he's having a breakdown. I'll be like, 5-second dance party.
Right.
You know, so yeah.
Did you ever listen to the song Waistline yet?
Waistline? No, because I don't have one.
I'm not even about
I'm
to.
still searching for it.
I'm not about to acknowledge this
If anybody
statement.
has seen that Waistline,
Call 1-800 Crime Stoppers.
call 1-800.
Find my waistline. Beyond the Fluff. Is that a website? Like
I don't know.
Whoop. We do not own the rights to this song. It is by the artist July 7 called Waistline. It's a very danceable song. Like, it's funny because I'm not gonna play the whole thing because I'm not getting this podcast pulled. But what's interesting is it is a very good song because it helps you like to kind of get a little dancing mood when you wake up in the morning. And that's the one thing about embracing breaks. It's just to unwind. I'm not playing this whole song. I want my podcast. I want this show to make it. I ain't trying to get it kicked off.
You just waited till I got into the song.
That's fine. That's the whole point. Oh, you want? Oh, wait. All right. Okay, fine. We'll get you to the chorus. It was just, and I'm gonna do like Joe does on most of his shows, just talk over the whole audio.
You can.
That way I can get away with it. Lucky I ain't got the speaker hooked up. No, you good. Oh, how do I? So we're not gonna play the chorus because then it's gonna go into verse 2, and then I gotta deal with chord.
Right. Sorry.
No,
you said court.
Chorus.
Oh,
Dealing with the chorus and maybe the courts. But yes, it's I'm learning better. I'm learning better. I'm working on doing a better job with knowing how to handle the breaks when they happen. Like when I have that moment of I need to work on something, I really am like really trying to figure out that point of let me turn these things off. Like one of my friends, it's a post that I put up, and matter of fact, I think I've seen this post multiple times in multiple facets that it fits me to a T, and it always triggers me. So there actually is 2 posts. One says 2020 you learned, 2021 apply.
Ooh.
That's one message that I saw. And then the other message was
apply pressure.
I don't even know if I still have it, but it was basically just like, it was along the lines of, hey, you, close that app. And I was like, why are you coming for me? Like, it was one of my friends I personally know who I'm visiting. Oh, Mia. Mia wants to see who you are. Got it. So yeah, just trying to embrace those pockets and really like those good moments of just unwinding and relaxing and just like doing something silly. Like my cousin and I had this conversation a few days ago. She was like, you gotta like try to find that point of like dancing more often. And I was like, I'm not gonna fight you. Like, you're right. But it's me also getting out of that shell of dancing more often. You probably heard all that slide on my foot just now, didn't you? Okay, got it. Cool. I did. I'm gonna get both of the last 2 topics are kind of emotional a little bit, but not overly emotional, but a heavy thing. Did you ever at any point go to that monument?
I still haven't been.
Okay.
I need to go.
Yeah, all the spray paint is still there. All the basketball courts are still out there. There are people like I would personally recommend, especially with a child, I would recommend going, like having him just go see it. Regardless of if it does get pulled, then that would be the blessing of all blessings. But even in hindsight, if they were to go back and say, okay, nothing changed, we're going to go back to normal and everything is cleaned up.
I think still, they should leave it be.
Yeah, it would be nice, but this is...
I really want him to take a picture on it.
We can do that too. It's still open. I mean, it's open where people are still like going over there. Like my brother, I didn't add that as a topic. My brother and I went by there just to kind of look at it because he hadn't seen it. And when I showed it to him, I was like, yeah, I took a picture over here because he hadn't been down the monument to see a lot of the monuments that got taken down. But we just happened to be going that way because we were going to a Starbucks. The same Starbucks where I found out the news about Ipan. Rest in peace, Ipan, by the way. And rest in peace, Kobe. Like, and I didn't say this during that segment. Even in the occurrences that I did have with Kobe, like she left an impact. That's why I didn't know how to process it. Also, and I know that's neither here nor there, but it's relevant to bring up. For the sake of the discussion. All right, Mia, we know you got a bell on. All right. So, but yes, the spray painting of the monument, I bring that up because of the attack that happened on George Floyd. And where I think Black Americans woke up a little bit. I said a little bit. I didn't say they woke up completely. I said a little bit. Mia doesn't agree. Got it. If you hear the bells, I promise you, we know Christmas was like 4 days ago, but it's neither here nor there. Did that as you having a husband as well as a son, did that incident alone affect you? How did that affect you? I guess that's my big question.
It affected me greatly, especially with my husband is so free spirited. He will leave his phone and go to the store, or leave his phone when he's going somewhere to be gone for a little bit, and so it's now turn into me like I have to hug you before you leave. I have to make sure you have your phone and stuff like that because you just never know.
Right.
And as far as my son, oh God, that's a whole different topic. It's
we got time.
It's just it's just teaching him values and respect. And once he's just 3, but once he's I can see the temperament in him already. So I have to instill those things, which you shouldn't have to, but you have to give him that education about what to do, what not to do, you know. So it's, as a black woman, even with you, you know, when you say you're going to work or whatever, like I'm just concerned. That's why I'm always like, you make it in? Are you okay?
Yeah.
How's your day going?
Did you get the food? Yeah.
So
no, I get it.
Just having those measures in place, it was a very stressful time for the black woman. I'll tell you that, because we already don't feel protected.
As a black male, I can't relate, and I'm only saying. Damn, that sounded so unconcerned.
No,
but it sounded. I want to make sure I'm clear with saying that throat chakra on turn up. It's more so I'm on the other side, so that's why I'm hearing you say that brings it to light. And I'm not editing that. I don't feel bad. Like normally I would sit here, so Fred will tell you, and most of my friends will tell you, anytime I edit or do podcasts, I'll be sitting here pressing M to like, oh, I'm gonna mark this because I need to change it. This is raw edit. This is raw audio because I think this is that. I'm not even gonna say I think this is that content or that information that people need to hear, and that's why I'm talking about it like I am, because I know for me being a black man, it made me move a little, not even slower, but it made me move with a different stage. Like it was a couple weeks after I had graduated, I was done with school, and then to get that news on the internet, I was like, I don't know what I want to do. What am I trying to do? Where do I want to go? And then I just had to really pick who to talk to about different things, because a lot of people, we're in this space. A lot of people who are not black don't understand what it's like to be black.
No.
And I always will say, I will always say I value Venable being on this show when I did that podcast of him talking about it's a black thing you wouldn't understand. I'm going to send you that link because that was probably, I think, if I had to really go back, and this is off topic of what I have listed, but my 3 shows that stuck out came at the end of the year. Ramona's show hit really heavy. The podcast I did about Take Your Time But Don't Waste Your Time really hit differently because a lot of people listen to that show. And the show I did with Venable or Wyatt really hit different because he gave a lot of information as a fellow black male on a different level of really getting people to understand, like, I'm not just saying this because it happened. I'm saying it because I've seen it.
Right.
Like, even with him being in that area of knowing, like, in his hometown, related to, I'm freestyling a little bit with the story, but it was with when the kids were walking up to the school, first black kids walking into the school. Don't know it. I'll reference the story during the podcast. Guess I'm marking this show after all. Fuck it. But it's an important part to look at as far as for history purposes, as to how relevant it was to where we are with our society. So even with us going through things in 2020, like the saying goes, like, we have a long way to go. We're going to talk about the election, but this is probably going to be a weird point because I'm doing something a little different this year.
Okay.
As we leave 2020 and go into 2021, I need a break. Just a brief break. Very brief. And we'll be back. We're going to finish up.
Okay.
And then we'll go get going.
Okay.
All right, y'all. Intermission number 2 has happened, which I normally don't do intermissions because most people know I just record and be done with it. We come back and I'm in my scarf game. Angie's in her Soch game. And we got one topic that might take up a good amount of time. And then we're going to do my favorite section or session of the podcast called Pass the Message. And we'll go into that when we get there. I don't want to say briefly, but what are your thoughts as far as we'll say just the safe timeline from the election up until now? Like where you at, how you feel about it, whatever. I'm not minimal on it.
Oh, how do I feel about it? I just want them to do right by the American people. Mm-hmm. And that means all of us, black, brown, orange, blue.
Salt.
Salt, pepper, lemon pepper.
Garlic, balsamic,
paprika.
Oh wait, go ahead, keep talking because I'm gonna show something to you. You ain't gonna never talk to me again. But go ahead.
No, I definitely just want them to do right. And everybody's like 45 has increased the stimmy to 600 to 2,000. Who cares, man?
So none of you are here physically to see it, but Jesus. Lifetime is doing a infamous original movie on January 23rd called Salt and Pepper. But what makes it funny is the comment that was shared. And
garlic powder and paprika.
And we were in our group chat having a field day with this. I think we all came up with like different nicknames or different references. I think I even said I'm boycotting TV that day. I don't even want to watch nothing on TV. But yeah, okay. So, all right. So the election, you just want everything to be on the right path for what's beneficial to the future and forthcoming. Yeah,
because $1 billion on counting fish in the Gulf of Mexico. Come on, bro.
Yeah, the numbers are a little off. Ain't nobody carried a one that day.
Right.
I will. So there's a lot of things I gotta say with this. Like this year showed us that everybody can do what we did this year every year, which is everybody can vote remotely without having to physically go to a poll. Mm-hmm. It sucks that it took COVID to bring that to life, but now people, I guarantee you next year, you will not see as many people physically go to the polls if they don't have to. Or, and let me be clear. If anything else, they're going to open the window a lot wider for early voting.
Yeah.
Because of this. And it shouldn't have took COVID for that to happen. But it's good that it occurred because a lot of people were finding every excuse not to go vote or not to submit a vote because of COVID. And I will say this because I want to say this to people who did or did not choose to. If you didn't choose to vote, I have no problem with that. Mm-hmm. I have nothing but respect for that. And I think the reason I do have the respect for it is because that's your choice if you chose not to vote. Mm-hmm. Just like it's my right to vote, it's your right
not to
vote.
If you don't want to.
If you don't want to. But do not give people a hard time and bend their arm because they chose to vote.
Right.
I think that was what stood out to me this year with the election. Is that a lot of people played like this hand-holding game of like, you voted and you don't know what you voted for and your vote ain't gonna make no difference. And I'm just like, okay, you have your opinion and I'm not here to fight you about it, but don't scrutinize me for me making my choice to do something that I've opted to do for the last 20 years. Like, I've been voting ever since 2000. Mm-hmm. And the reason why was because my personal perspective stands down to, yes, blacks have been treated like shit when it comes to voting. We understand that. We know that. We're not going to ignore that. But on the flip side, if you want change to happen, you have to make change. Just my opinion.
Like, and when I say it with that atonement or with that statement, because there's so much going on in the world, and there's so much happening. If there were enough people, and I'll bring it back, I'll bring it home. If there were more people who were on the boards of the government in Richmond or in Virginia, I think people would be more open to giving it a go, or really trying to be in that realm. It's not sitting here putting it into the infamous, "Oh, you're a politician," because you can walk out this door, turn left, walk down the street. You can walk right ahead of somebody that's a Republican, and you wouldn't know they were a Republican unless they told you they were a Republican.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, it's about, we still got to look at what's going to benefit our country. The world ain't where it's the big deal. The big deal is right in our own backyards, and that's why I've been able to like push and present a lot of what I've shared. And I didn't share this before we started back coming on the show, but I'm in Scarf Gang. We in here, gang. Lace front gang, bow.
I'm weak.
Last clink. Sound like clink. Your ice dead.
Gang.
In customs. Did you have any? Wait, did I take all the topics?
No.
What else you had?
I threw all of mine.
You threw all yours?
There.
Oh, so I'm left with, okay, so then we're near the end of the show.
Oh, woo, woo, woo.
Yeah.
You get on my nerves.
If you know,
you
you know.
always want to be the Beyonce of the group.
That's a lie. Hey, it ain't my fault. We share the same birthday. Share a year older. Hey, low key, it sucks because I'm not doing sports this week. But it is a big deal that could possibly happen where Master P and Baron Davis are looking to come together and buy Reebok, which I think is a big deal.
Like a freaking big deal. Wow.
If you look at it, like Master P was given a lot of gems in that. So, like, we joked about it off mic, but in the Solange album, he was given a lot of like black-owned references, like in that realm and in that spectrum. Like, even down to when everybody looks at it and they look at anytime they think of black-owned, they always go to Jay-Z, and it's like, he's not the only one that's been doing it.
Not at all.
Puff ain't the only one that's been doing it. There are other ones that have been doing it. You just haven't seen it being big. Like, Rick Ross has done it, and it's not even talked about.
I don't think anybody gives LeBron his flowers either.
Talk about it.
I mean, he's done so much in his community.
With the school.
And even beyond that. He does so much, not even just for holidays.
Yeah.
You know, and everybody always wants to talk their stuff about LeBron, but he definitely does give back.
Like when he tried to rap the Pop Smoke song.
You need to let that man live. That is ridiculous.
I think that was edited low key, but that's neither here nor there. Like being someone that's doing editing and designing, I saw it and I was just like, y'all making this way more than what it is.
You better plug yourself.
I mean, if you know, you know. I mean, but if folks, and that's something that I really do plan to give more effort to next year, is really being a editor. Anyone that does not have the time or the effort to do editing, hit me up. I'm ready to start, because I really want to start editing podcasts. I think I'm not even saying I think I have the ability to really get your podcast what you want. Even if it comes down to I want to remove all the ums and uhs, like me, I don't care.
I a lot.
But if it doesn't take away from the content of the message, who cares?
Right.
Like, I've listened to, and I don't want to put my podcast in the Joe Rogan and Joe Budden pocket. But knowing what I'm capable of doing with a fucking Yeti and a Mac, y'all got a soundboard and y'all got a squad. This is me,
right? And
I can sit here and I give you. I'm cocky. I give you shit. I give you good shit. Fuck out of here. Like, if you, like, and I know I'm saying if you know being funny, but if you bring it, like, I think I've personally learned to always do my best with what I'm doing. And I can really go back and look at when I did podcasting in, say, 2015, 2016 versus
2018, 2019, when I started to really alter, like, giving more effort to podcasting. So that's why I say I make it my goal to, like, give more content and give more effort to what we're doing or what I'm doing. But, you know, we're doing because you also be listening to shows on the low. And I know when you listen, but that's another story. So we have our shout outs to Ron because he's a tongue popper. Pause. But I do. Before we wrap up, we will go ahead and do our infamous, what I like to consider my favorite part of this show, since it is called The Pass. I always give my co-host or my guests or anyone who comes on the show an opportunity to pass one good message along to the listeners. It can be something related to podcasting. It can be something related to life. It can be something related to your personal experiences along your journey to share with the listeners. And I don't care how long or how brief it is, but just drop. You've already dropped like 30 gems and people are still collecting coins. So outside of those pieces of information, what is one message you'd like to pass along to the listeners of this show?
So there's a song by Savannah Christina called Self-Care.
Okay.
It actually...
I'll put the link from Spotify. Sorry.
It actually was... I was riding in the car with Colby. And I said, we were playing songs. And I said, well, I got this song I want you to listen to, girl. And she was like, okay. And when it started playing, she was like, that's my favorite song. So we just blasted it. And that was the last song we sung together. Self-Care. If you haven't heard it, go listen to it. It definitely...
I think we played it a couple, like, not too long after you had talked to me about it, and I couldn't sit right about it.
Yeah, but...
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, you're good. Self-care is something that people have brought back into 2020, and they're like, self-care. Self-care is more than taking a day off. Self-care is more than pampering yourself. Self-care is more than shopping. Self-care is really... as we expressed earlier, knowing your boundaries. Self-care is doing for you first. My ex always used to tell me, we were really young when we got married. So he used to always tell me, when it came to the finances, to pay yourself off top. And that is really stuck with me. And I really always thought he meant monetary, but he really didn't. He's do something for yourself. You have to give that love to yourself and begin to, and I'll say this for a lot of singles. I went through a period where I was single for a while, and I really had to just fall back and understand me and what I'm looking for, understand my personality, because throughout the years we all change. We evolve, we grow, like we talked about earlier.
Right.
And do not settle. I will tell you all, do not settle. When you see them red flags, and this is going to relationships, when you see them red flags, take them and run. Pick the flag up if you see it.
And go the other direction.
And go the other direction. Don't settle just to say you have someone. Don't settle just because you're lonely. Don't push up on nobody that you know is not right for you. Like, just don't. And whatever your faith may be, cling to it. I can only speak for me. You know, I love the Lord. But whatever it is that keeps you grounded, cling to it and just be the best version of you that you can be and mind your business.
Wow. I got nothing. I don't even know if I want to follow any of that up. That's just unfair. So
I knew you had something.
No, because I got a solid message, but it's also gonna be, as I beat the mic loud as shit. I'll edit that at some point.
And then my ankle pops.
Pop, lock, and drop it. Pop,
Yeah.
So remember, I'm 2 years away from 40. Don't do that.
God bless you.
I will go back to the. So I gave this earlier during the podcast, and I'm not going to harp on it, but it's going to tie into the message that I'm passing along to you all as more posts and notifications come up. The Mamba mentality is a constant quest to be the best version of oneself. And I implemented this and I pushed this and I presented it. Even with me joking about the cats that are here at my where I stay, they're being the best version of themselves. And I'm going to give this message to those who need to hear it. Do not fight who you are. And I want to really unpack that and explain what I mean by being the true person that you are. You're going to learn along the way who you are, how much you're worth, what value you have to yourself, what value you have to others. Some people are going to treat you like your Connecticut Avenue, and some people are going to treat you like you Park Place and Boardwalk. If you don't understand what that means, go to google.com, put in the word Monopoly board, and go to images, and you'll thank me later. I don't know how nice I can say it, but for the longest time, I've always put myself at the beginning of the board after you pass go. I emphasize this, and whenever I talk about things like this, it's almost like nobody else is in the room. I've had multiple conversations with friends, Angie being one of them, and being reminded of how much I bring to the table. At times I forget it and I put it off to the side, and then there are other times that I'm like, my ass actually got a lot of good shit that I offer without knowing that I'm offering it. So lately it's been me knowing the worth is great, but now it's doing something with that worth. So my message that I'm going to pass along is, if you know your worth and you value your worth, that is awesome. That's great. You're ahead of a lot of people in this world. And before I continue into this message, I want to share, I want to piggyback or counteract what Angie said, which is very key. And I know she said Angela, but I call her Angie. I call her Angie. I call her everything because whatever. If you know, you know.
Oh, I was about to say that.
I know. Snatch. Shaka. You sometimes don't realize where people come from or how they bring things, but you know they're bringing it. And I know I won't say we always have, but in the last few months, when the spiritual and personal well-beings have counteracted, it's never been looked at of who's doing it right. Is it from the religious? Is it from the spiritual? Is it from the biblical? And it's like, okay, I've said this to people, and I think even when I broke this down, some people were kind of blindsided. If a person sits on a meditation mat and meditates, and a person sits in a quiet area and prays, who's doing it better? You know what I'm saying? If you're sitting in your prayer space and you're praying to your higher being, but you're also still taking that time to meditate, you're still getting it done. If you're meditating and you're taking that time to like get yourself in a quiet and a relaxing zen, but still taking time to pray to the ancestors and pray to those who are above you that have gotten you through hell and high water, are we giving pushback to the other person? This all comes back to the statement that I made from the beginning. We're both still trying to be the constant. We're still pursuing the quest of being the best version of ourselves. And you have to love you enough to know how important it is to like bring the best you to the table. Because if you brought the best you to the table and you ain't pray, it's not going to be judged any less than the person who brought the best of them and didn't meditate that day. Because some people are going to try, and some people are going to give, and some people aren't going to give, and some people are going to ignore. And my closing part as we exceed the 2-hour mark is don't fight the gems or the information that others are giving you. If others are giving you information, they're giving you people who really fuck with you on that level that are giving you solid information are giving you that information from experience. They're not gonna just give it to you just for the hell of it. They're giving it to you because they know they've went through something, but they may or may not be ready to talk to you about it just yet because they may not think you're in the space to receive what they're about to share, and that's on multiple levels.
Facts.
So those are my messages that I pass along. That's my statement I have. That's the wrap up. That is everything we've uncovered for our experience of 2020. We will try to do this again next year for 2021, but if nothing else, as I always openly invite the people, this ain't the last show. You better come back on my show. It's not like, I I look forward to you being on another show when you can. Come back on the show. I like people coming back on the show and actually giving the other perspective. Right. Of the outside ear, the outside eye, because they know what I ain't being funny. They know what I sound like. Bring somebody else on. Talk. Let them talk. Honestly, I love being a B mic on the show and just chilling. I know I A mic'd a lot of this because for her, she was a little shy, but not really. And if I ain't
good night
ever, we ain't closing. I gotta hit stop. But with that being said, any closing remarks other than your passing message?
I will say something I learned this year.
Oh, okay. What did you learn?
A lot of people that meet me, and not that I'm in Gucci down to the socks or anything. Because
I'm bougie as fuck.
Right. I'm not bougie. This is what I found out.
Go ahead.
Dang it, I lost it.
I
got it.
All right, you got it. My bad. I'm gonna be quiet.
I just hold myself to a higher standard. And, if you don't, I'm not saying that you're below me or beneath me. That's just you. We can both have those different opinions and things about life and fashion and shoes, but don't be so quick to call people bougie.
I wasn't.
Not you, silly.
That was a quicksand moment.
You get on my nerves.
That was a quicksand moment. I ain't gonna hold you.
But I thank you for having me.
That was the other part I was supposed to say. Damn, I'm horrible. I was supposed to say thank you for being on the show, but thank you for being. Cause I literally left that whole part out.
I'm weak.
No, because I really wanted to say I really do appreciate you under these circumstances, really coming over and waiting for my test and waiting for life to be what it was.
And my 14 negative tests.
My God.
Right.
But it also is. It's growth in knowing that regardless of what does or doesn't happen, if something's going to happen, it's going to happen. And you have to, be patient with how life happens. And for some people, that is challenging because we don't know what that patient side looks like.
Yes, it is.
So we're going to work on our patience for 2021.
And I'm going to tell you something with that. When you say you're going to work on your patience, watch how God sends something to irk you.
Say that again.
Watch how God sends something to irk you. And you'll be like, I am working on my patience. He sent it already.
Yeah.
The co-worker, the husband, the kids, the people outside, the people under the stairs.
The car.
All of that. Ooh.
The car.
Oh. All right. This is Angela Christina signing off.
Are you closing the show?
Angela Christina signing off. It's been a pleasure. 2020. I will see you all in 2021.
Buckle up. 2021 is not coming with light hands.
Let's get it. If
you know, you know. Y'all take it easy. The Past signing out. Until next time.
We out.
Peace.
Really appreciate all the support, all the listens, all the likes, all the effort that goes into anyone who has provided any form of content for the past. We're signing out now, but you definitely don't want to miss what's in store for the upcoming episode. If you are interested in getting more information or becoming a podcaster, you can check out buzzsprout.com. And the microphone that you are hearing me use is the Blue Yeti X. I had been using a Yeti for a while. I went back to the Samsung Meteor, but now I'm using the Blue Yeti X, which is everything. Trust me. All social medias, The Pass BT Pod. That's THE Pass as in pass the ball. BT is my initials.
Pod.
And finally, if you are a creator and you want to support a fellow creator, subscribe, like, and comment on the pass. Until next time, this is your host, BT, signing out.